Evening race fans, hope everybody is well. Quick vlog, as Nigel Hire would call it. This won't be as good as Nigel Hire's vlogs, to be fair, but a bit of an update really. Obviously today was the day that the final 16 for the shootout was decided, so we'll get into that in a minute.
So we still haven't got this engine in the car. I'll tell you for why. We've put these time certs in. That's the time cert thread there. And when that is the length of the bolt, which is 1.25 inch bolt, which is 3/8 UNC, and we need to get that bolt in as far as we can. And that is the depth of the thread. And we didn't realise that that thread has got a stop on it. It only goes in that far, and there's a stop there. So we took the engine out of the shale car because we couldn't get tap inside the car very easily and install those. We took the whole engine out to do it. Then we've had to tap these out to get the full length of the bolt in. What a pain in the ass. So we managed to do it. We haven't put this engine in because we've decided we're going to do this engine before we put it in. We've actually bought some longer ones this week. There's some longer ones on eBay. They're much longer. They're 11 quid each as well. But they're longer than that, like you say. So they will be a little longer. But what we've learnt is you can run a tap all the way through it and take the stop off. You learn something every day, don't you? So there you go. We're going to tap this engine out before we put it in the car, make the job much easier and get this in. And maybe he's gone to blue as well, of course. I think he was struggling from red on Tarmac. I think that was one of the reasons he didn't like Tarmac. So maybe I can convince him to come back out, do a couple of Tarmacs. World qualifiers are starting again now, of course. Once the world finals, was it world semi-final? Bradford next, start the shootout. Not in the shootout because we missed a few meetings this year with the wedding and dropped a couple of Tarmacs. We missed the shootout, which is fine. We didn't want to do the shootout this year. We did it last year. It's expensive and a lot of effort, and it doesn't want to do Tarmac anyway. So missed the shootout. That starts a week on Saturday at Bradford, and then the week after is our consolation semi-final at Kings Lynn. Obviously, top two goes through. Would be fantastic to qualify for the World Final. Of course, if you qualify for the World Final consolation night, gives you a couple of weeks to get excited about the World Final. If you were to qualify on World Final night, you've got a couple of hours to get excited. You haven't got the build-up, have you? So, but the consolation race being a couple of weeks before is brilliant. And I guess the other reason is the foreigners that come over, like the New Zealand lads, can come over to that Kings Lynn a couple of weeks before and get a good practice in, can't they, as well? So that's where we're at, and then after the World Final, the World Qualifiers will start. I think there's about, I don't know, is there 8 this year and 8 next year, something like that. I know Paul Lyne said if you did all 16, if you can average 10 points, then you're 160 points, and like your top 3 or 4 in the points, you know, with 160 points. So if you can average 10 points in a World Qualifier and do them all, so that's how we're thinking. We're going to try and do the World Qualifiers. So we're going to try and get the Tarmac engine back in, and try and get the car ready for the Tarmac World Qualifiers. Because we're thinking for the World Final for next year. That's what we're thinking now. This year, it didn't make it this year. So if we could, we're going to get ready now and try and score some points and get in a good position for the next year's semi. Of course, next year's on shale as well, of course, at Bradford. So we want to be in it. We're going to keep trying. That's our motivation. At the end of the day, that's what we go racing for results. What was it? Venray this week. We're not doing Venray. We can't warrant. We race and we get some results, we get some points. That's what we do it for. We can't warrant going to Holland. We'd love to. We'd like going racing every week, but we can't warrant it. It's a grand a week to race here. It's double to go to Holland, at least double. I know someone this week who's going to Venray this week who spent 10 grand. He's put has to buy silencers, change his exhaust, had to change his brackets for his fuel tank, change his brackets for his battery, 4 sets of tyres, just ridiculous. I can't warrant spending that kind of money. So that's where we're at. We have another weekend off. I'm going to Wales for the weekend. I've got some friends down there, and then we're going to get the shale car finished, get the rear axle back, get the silencers fitted. Sorry, get the headers fitted, and get the car ready for Bradford. That's our plan. See you there. Right, car's going. Tell me what you're doing for my blog. What are you doing? Tell me what you're doing.
So my back axle was really badly bent, so Tom has put a new tube in it. So I'm going to take the car to Tom, fit the back axle, and then take the car to Michael Boswell's to fit the exhaust.
When you get the car back? Next week?
Yeah, next week.
That's all right. Not racing this weekend, no. Perfect, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, have a good journey. Right, see you now. Should we lift this engine in? Brian?
Yeah, can do.
Right. Right, Jake is on a tour, and me and Brian get this engine lifted in. Once I get it in, and we can tidy up with bits along the leather floor, bits everywhere when you've got an engine out, exhaust and parts and gearboxes and diffs and bloody bolts all over the floor. And you get kicked around if you don't get the engine back in, tidy up and so on. It gets lost, parts gets lost. So let's try and get the engine back in, and whether we race that car or not, at least it's back together. A bit. Don't really like this when it's up in the air. Oh well. Here we go. For the umpteenth time, put it back in. I've tapped it out. I had one job. Jake's gone out. I had one job. Lift the engine in for him. Lifted the engine in, and I've only bloody cracked the fuel pump. Look at that. Look at that. What an absolute dick. I can't believe I've done that. That's just cost me a couple £100. I've took the spark plugs out, I've took out the oil pressure, and I've just like been careful that I wasn't going to break anything. I didn't tell him. I've got a spare one, I've still got to replace the spare one, haven't I? What do you call it? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. What a pain in the ass. Oh, I'm going home. I might go to the pub. The common question, and I know I've done this before, the common question is what's the difference between a Tarmac car and a shale car? That's a Tarmac car, and that is a shale car. The difference is the rear weight. Simple as that. The calipers are slightly different, the axles are slightly different, but mainly the difference is the rear weight. That car has got, the difference, the weight, rear weight on the stock car has got to be between 55 and 60. So thinking about it, if a Tarmac car is 55% rear weight and a shale car is maximum 60% rear weight. If you was to raise the rear weight on a Tarmac car to 56, let's say most shale cars are 58 now, and then you lowered the rear weight on a shale car to 57, so all cars were between 56 and 57, car builders would only build one car. All stock cars would be the same. You wouldn't be building a Tarmac car or building a shale car trying to build the weight back or the weight forward, like with the engines being further forward. If you said next year the weight is between 56 and 57, it would sort the problem out, wouldn't it? Wouldn't be building different cars, and you could buy a Tarmac car and race on shale and vice versa. You know, it wouldn't be different cars. Just my opinion. It would just be a stock car, and you could have a brake on each corner. Just with it, you could have a tap. You could just have a tap for it, because a Tarmac car hasn't got it's only got one brake on the rear, but you could just have a tap and turn it off. So stock cars could be the same. It benefits the better drivers or top drivers that have got 2 cars, as we have. So I don't care anymore. You know, I used to be all for 1 car, but it doesn't really make a difference. We've got 2 cars. We've got the benefit of having 2 cars. It spreads the wear out between the engines and spreads the work out between the cars, and it balances out evenly. So I'm not really bothered anymore, but it could easily be done, but it doesn't really matter to me. I was actually at the grass track last weekend and talking to an old friend of mine that we used to race together 35 years ago, and talking about what he's done grass track sidecars for the last 29 years. He's just retired. I was telling him, talking about stock cars, what I do now, and conversation. This also a conversation came into conversation as well. The rear weight on their sidecars is the same. They've brought their engines back 12 inches over the years. They keep getting further and further and further back to get more rear weight and more grip. They keep moving the exhaust, but they can't get them back any further than what they have done now. But is that the same with the Tarmac, with the sidecars, just trying to get more rear grip? So there we go. That's the difference between a Tarmac and shale car. The axles are slightly wider on the Tarmac car. The whole of the shale car is slightly narrower, to be honest. But from a distance, they're the same, aren't they? Rules are the same, left weight's the same, overall weight's the same. It's just that rear weight, really. Of course, Nigel Green did have a really wide rear axle, didn't he? He brought out a really wide rear axle car, and then went and demolished the world final at Ipswich and won it. And it was a brilliant, innovative design, and it was brilliant. And I think we'd all be on them wide axle cars had it not been banned But the other thing was that car wouldn't actually go in this coach. The car went into a trailer, so there wouldn't be room for us all to be bringing coaches and trailers with us to the meetings. Right, that's the basic difference between the the other thing, to get the rear weight, talking about the engine being further back, the engine on the shale car is actually 7 inches further back than the tarmac car. So that's how, one of the ways we get more rear weight, like the steering box on the tarmac car is on the side of the engine, and the steering box on the shale car is in the middle. See the steering box there? The steering box is at the front, as far forward as it could get. It's quite heavy item. I don't know how heavy it is, 3 or 4 kilos, I bet. Might even be 5 kilos. Never weighed one. And then on the shale car, same again, it's more rear weight. The steering box is under the steering wheel there. So the shale car is further back. The way they're built, it's just the way they're built to try and get more rear weight and get the axle further forward, and make the car slightly stubbier on the back. The fuel tank's in the back, the battery's in the back. Often on a tarmac car, it might have a flat tank in it, so the fuel tank is lower, and it might have the battery on the side, so the battery's further forward. It might even have a small battery on it. There you go. That's pretty much the difference.
Oh!
Come here. Right.
You have dialed is not available at present. Please leave your message after the beep.
Yeah, trendsetter, whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a best.